Good evening and welcome to the December board meeting of the Bismarck Board of Park Commissioners. I'll call the meeting to order and ask Julie to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson.
Here.
Herzog.
Here.
Redmond.
Here.
Jeske.
Here.
President Zimmerman.
Here. I would ask you to please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that, and I would ask for a motion on the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gilbertson, second by Commissioner Redmond. Julie, if you would call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson.
Aye.
Herzog.
Yes.
Redmond.
Aye.
Jeske.
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is our featured partners and programs for this month is Nishu Bowman. And I have Brad Veith with Nishu Bowman will appear before the board. Brad, and I'm sure he's going to give us a report on all the indoor activities at Nishu Bowman.
I have some outdoor stuff, but
Thank you, Brad, for coming out this evening.
thank you for having
And
me.
welcome.
Thank you. So I'm Brad Veith, president of Nishu Bowman, located down at 1409 Riverwood Drive. We currently have 453 memberships, which with the family memberships and the youth comes out to 687 members currently as of our last board meeting. We are the charter club for the North Dakota Bowhunters Association, the National Field Archery Association, and the Association of Competitive Archers. We just brought on another youth program for Burleigh County 4-H. This is their first year. They have 54 youth archers that shoot at Sunday afternoon. Morton County 4-H still utilizes the facility. They have 72 youth archers. This would be their 9th year there. And thanks to my daughter over here, we now have the first high school archery team in the state, Bismarck High, which I have been voluntold I am the coach of now. So we're looking forward to getting that going. We have a few members who are going to be going to be attending one of the national shoots held in Fargo at the beginning of the year. So we're looking forward to watching that grow. For me, this is my 10th year with Nishu Bowman, 5th year on the board, 3rd year as president. No, 2nd year as president. And for me, it's always been a big push for the youth and just providing as many opportunities as possible to shoot. So with meetings with Kevin and Dave, we've really pushed opportunities on the outdoor range, which is open to the public, which aside from our numbers and membership, which to me look good, I can assure you that the outdoor range gets a pile of use. I would have to say every bit of threefold. If you come down on a night in late July, August, before bow season, even September, there's not a spot on that outdoor range. Both walking courses are full. We updated last year what we call a shooting gallery, so that when we do set targets for practice for national events, some of the bow hunters still have a place to practice from an elevated platform. That is always full. I mean, and there's no doubt in my mind you come down on a Friday night in August and you'll bump into 100, 120 archers out using the facility in one night. So aside from that, another youth program we have is what's called the Junior Olympic Archery Development Program. That has about 30 archers, give or take. But that is a fairly prestigious program which has produced, at this point, the #1 archer in the world. Used to fly from Denmark to coach at our facility. He has won the top 3 largest shoots in the nation right now, so probably on his way to the Olympics now that they've introduced the compound archery into the Olympics. So there's a lot to look forward to. We're excited with the direction it's going, especially with the youth programs. We have 5 or 6 large tournaments every year. The Western Classic, which we hold in January. We've repartnered with Shields now. That's going to be called the Shields 3D Classic. In past years, that shoot we'll have anywhere from 350 to 500 rounds shot in a weekend in 3 days. So we're hoping we have every bit of that number, especially our first year outing with Shields again. That will be a shoot where we bring out all the large dioramas. A new thing we're doing this year, our vice president reached out to some of the taxidermists in town, and we're going to have professional scenes set up to put our targets in, and then they can advertise their business that way, and we'll be able to keep those for our 3D shoots. February brings the midwinter shoot, which is normally a pretty good one. And then March, so the March and April shoots got flipped around. We used to have a buckle shoot in March, and then the last chance shoot, because that's kind of the last opportunity to shoot 3Ds. So we now have the second to last chance, which is going to be in March. And then we have the buckle shoot, which I couldn't even begin to imagine how many people that brings in, but I've never seen that place as busy as it is the weekend of the buckle shoot. The parking lot is full. You can't walk in the lobby. I'd be willing to bet we had 600 to 800 rounds shot last year. And the president of the North Dakota Archers Association out of Fargo coined it the most prestigious shoot in North Dakota. So it brings the most people, brings the most competition. I believe last year we had people from 17 different states in Canada, 2 different countries. Yeah, and two pros came to shoot. So that's a big draw, and we're excited to see that, and hoping some of the big names and the prestige of it draw more people, and we can continue to grow that. And then our last big shoot of the year is the safari shoot in August, which is put on by some of the old guys, kind of aimed more towards the bow hunters and stuff like that. Kind of our last chance out in the summer. So that kind of covers our youth programs. We do host a lot of shoots that aren't affiliated with NISHU. Last year we did host State 4-H Indoor and State 4-H Outdoor. We got lucky enough to have both of them in 1 year. As a 4-H coach, I've been coaching for Morton County for 8 years. This is my first year coaching for Burley County. I think that brings in close to 500 to 600 archers in 1 day. So to move that many kids through the facility, they really have their ducks in a row, and they do a good job keeping that moving. We do about a 10-hour day and get the entire state, all the kids from the state that qualify through to shoot. And last year we did hold the ACA field final. So the Alliance of Competitive Archers is a fairly new association in the state of North Dakota, and they hold a 6-leg tournament throughout the state. And last year we got to host the final of that leg and award the shooter of the year and the grand champions and things like that. And if you place at every event, you can earn what they call a grand slam, and that's kind of cool to see. So we're excited that Caitlin with Parks and Rec and Jeremy Dykstra, we were able to open up some dates. So now instead of just a summer and a fall league, we have some new spring dates. So as you guys, I'm sure, are aware, everything on your guys' website fills up almost the first day registration opens. So to provide another opportunity is something I'm super excited for. Like I say, I'd like to see our place busy on Saturdays too. I mean, we're pretty full Sunday through Friday with leagues come summertime, which leads me to leagues, which will start at the beginning of the year. We host a Cub League on Sunday, Spots, which is normally about 12 to 15 kids. Monday night we have a Spots League where we just shoot at paper targets for the people that are looking to compete nationally or statewide, and that's normally about 40 to 50. Our main arena will be pretty full with that. Tuesday nights we have a Team 3D. That took a large dip after COVID, but we're rebuilding. That's back up to about 16 4-man teams, so that fills the arena. Wednesday night is a 3D short course, and Thursday night is a 3D long course, and they've kind of flip-flop nights. Thursday used to be our busy night. Wednesday was a little less busy. But one night would normally have about 80 shooters, and the other night would have 40 to 50 shooters. So we keep the place pretty full and pretty busy. And then open shooting hours, when the facility, not just the outside, is open to the public. We changed the hours on Sunday a little bit just to provide more time for the youth on Sunday. But we still have them on Sunday, Monday, and Friday. Sunday's 11 to 2, Monday 6 to 9, and Friday 6 to 9. So we look forward to seeing people come in, check the facility out. We gain some memberships that way. That's kind of nice. So that's kind of the rundown on what we have going on now. So this is kind of new to me. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or.
Thank you, Brad. I know, I see a couple commissioners that have their lights on, so I'll start with Commissioner Gilbertson.
Yeah, I just want to commend you on your commitment to the youth.
Thank you.
And because that's, like with everything, that's your future.
For sure, for sure.
That's your future. That's amazing. My dad and uncles were members of NISHU back in the 80s. And
Okay.
I remember seeing that logo on the back of my dad's car
Yep.
for a long time. And I remember when we dedicated the building, then President Paul Quist had to take the honorary shot, and I'm glad it wasn't me because he didn't hit the target. but no, I just want to commend you and the other members of NISHU for the continued growth and interest, but primarily for the dedication to the youth, because that's amazing, and
appreciate
and
that.
I thank you for that very much.
Commissioner Jeske?
Thank you, President Zimmerman. So yes, I've been there in your facility a couple times. It's wonderful. So you talk about the age of the Cubs and everything else. What's the youngest members that you see, and what are some of the oldest members that you see participating?
So one of the gentlemen that is very dear to my daughters, he's an honorary grandpa of theirs. Bill is 80. Well, I couldn't guess. He's in his 80s. I wouldn't want to. But so I used to personally run the Cub League on Sunday nights, and I get that question a lot: how young is too young? And I've always been one that tries to accommodate any skill level, any age. And it got to a point where I think Brody was 4 when he shot with us, and I would just pull a bail far enough forward to accommodate him. And I don't think any age is too early if we can get them in there and get them shooting. It's a lifelong sport. It's not hard. I mean, aside from my shoulders sometimes, it's not hard on the body. It's not a contact sport, and like I say, I'd be willing to bet we have 40 members over 70, so, and they're down there shooting every day. And it's great for them being retired. They come on in during the day when it's not so busy. They get the place, so it's great for them.
Thank you.
Commissioner Redmond?
Thank you, President Zimmerman. First of all, congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing your daughter with you. That was just wonderful to have other additional guests. And you said 2 of my favorite words, and that's providing opportunities. And so thank you for doing that and for all your outreach and all the collaboration that you do. And thanks for coming tonight, Brad.
Thank you.
Commissioner Herzog?
Thanks, President Zimmerman, Commissioners. Brad, thanks for coming. I got to go to your board meeting your annual meeting a couple years ago, and yeah, the youth, the amount of kids that you have in there is just amazing. And then you've got kids that are getting college scholarships for that from our area, which is fantastic. I don't know if your daughter wants to come up and say anything. She sure can. If I could see you looking back over there for answers to
she was cueing
questions.
him, like,
She remembers a lot more than I do, so, and she's good at this. So actually, 5 years ago, she took 5th in the nation. My other daughter took 3rd in the nation last year in Chicago, so that's why we're on our way to go practice. That's why she's with me. It takes a
Nice.
lot of dedication and shooting time, so
What-
let's talk about the club.
Why do you think your friends why do you think it's grown so much, for young folks like you?
I think it's definitely like the sport is so, I don't know, lack of a better term, like addicting. You want, like, you find something that you work on, and you find like a face that you really like, and it's like fun to see yourself like have succession at it, and it's just really like fulfilling when you get to that point in archery.
Awesome. And can you take your dad on and beat him, or like, how's that
Well.
going? That's a yes, Brad.
So last week she tied me, and that's
Okay.
why I'm going to practice. That's my drive. So.
Well, thanks so much. And Brad, I just wanted to ask, or either of you, you've had a lot of growth. Is there something you see in the future for the facility, or something you need, coming up in the next 5 years that would be helpful as you guys continue to expand?
So we had a 5-year plan, and included in that was literally almost to double the size of the building. At that point, we would be capable of hosting national tournaments, which the tourism board has already given us extra money, like for prize money when we have tournaments for the draw we bring from other states and stuff like that. And I think that would be an even bigger draw if we could host or have the potential to host a national tournament. And that's kind of taken a back seat just because we've revamped and fixed all of the targets on the inside. We're working on expanding some of the targets on the outside, updating some of the targets on our static range on the outside. I personally, that's a push of mine, I would like to see larger. And the reason for that for me is because archery is such a growing sport. I'd like to be proactive than reactive and hoping that we have a bigger facility when it's too late. I'd like to have it and the whole build it and they will come thing. They're already coming, so it would be nice. But so fundraising is slow. We're not quite in the works for all of that yet, but it's on the horizon. We're hoping to. Fargo's already in the works of one. So being as we are North Dakota in a low population state, so many large facilities don't really hold value if you have one as close as Fargo, and we're kind of looking to see what they do and what we can do. And really just the Bismarck Mandan area alone, like I say, if you go on the outdoor course during the summer, the amount of people we have, we're already kind of at capacity. So we're hoping at some point to expand, but
And
No
she
real-
looks like she wants to maybe add a fizzly or something into
Yeah.
the building too.
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
what you were gonna mention.
The NISHU Youth Board right now and works with Wendy Bame and some other board members. We're currently getting our banners, our advertising banners, and our new floor spots open too, and that kind of helps with funding with things too.
yeah, so we provide sponsorships and advertising, kind of like every sporting facility anymore. People can advertise or brand and things like that. But yeah, and that's just one other what she had mentioned. I guess I didn't touch on earlier that trying to allow the youth to have a voice in the club. We have a 4-member youth board that sits in on our board meetings, so they have some input and a little insight as to how the place is run and what they do, and a little knowledge of what it takes to run a place like that. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Keep
Brad, I
kicking
think we
your
have a
dad's
couple
butt.
more questions. Oh,
Sure.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Herzog.
Right? Thank you.
Commissioner Jeske.
President Zimmerman, so I just wanted to get a little bit more information on the high school team that you guys have started. So is it co-ed? Is it male, female? How many people do you have participating in it? And how hard was the process to get that approved through the Athletic Association?
So, I'm a freshman at BHS this year, and last year I kind of wanted to see what we could do for Wachter, but by the time that he had partially given me the idea and I figured what it would probably take to bring it up to our activities director, it was too late and I was about to move on to BHS. So I think about 5 days before I even started school, I had had to email Mr. Crane, which is our activities director for BHS, and I'd asked him about meeting with him about starting a possible archery team. And I'd met with him, and he was talking about how it would be I wasn't the first person to bring it up, but I'd brought it up in a different way, and everybody had wanted to try to start a Genesis team, which NASP, which is National Archery in the Schools program, and I had brought up doing not at the school, being able to do use your own equipment so that we can practice for other national tournaments such as the Frozen 600 and Indoor Nationals and the Vegas Shoot and stuff. So I had to get a petition and I had to have 20 signatures on it so that he could bring it to Dr. Fosnot. So to have it show that it sparks interest within BPS. And so I had gotten I think 38 signatures on it that showed interest. So I'd turned that into him and he'd gotten it approved. So we basically get to use BHS's name, but we do practice at NISHU, and we have about 12 members right now. We have more, but 12 reoccurring members because we're super flexible. Everybody has a different schedule, and especially we have it on Wednesday nights at 7, and everybody usually has church, so kids make it when they can. But we have about 12 members. It's male and female, and we have fixed pins and freestyle and all kinds of ages. And recurve. We do have a recurve. And we have from freshman to senior. I think we have a freshman, a sophomore, junior, and a senior. We have all the grades in our club and all different shooting styles. So.
Very cool. Congratulations for taking the initiative to get that going. That's That's not a small task for an incoming freshman, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Looking at the future president of the United States. So,
Commissioner Gilbertson?
Yeah, and I just got to say, hearing your daughter speak, hearing you speak, and just seeing the passion, and more importantly, hearing you say words that are important to me as a lifelong citizen of Bismarck, proactive, not reactive. I think there are big things on the horizon for the archery community in Bismarck, but keep pushing that proactive approach because we need more of that.
Will do.
Brad, I have a couple questions for you briefly.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. Do you have an adaptive archery program at all for, say, wheelchair individuals or other disabilities? Do you have any type of program for adaptive shooting?
So we don't necessarily have a program. We are inclusive to the point where there is handicap accessibility to the main arena and to the youth range and the main floor. We've had, so the ACA did bring a Paralympic division.
2 Paralympic archers.
Yep, we had 2 Paralympic archers compete at our facility. But because of the variability of the equipment that some of them need to use, we don't really have a program, but we don't discourage them from coming and using their equipment, you know. So, and our experience with them is still learning, so we require more adaptive people to come and teach us how to help them. You know, we haven't really encountered a whole lot inquiring, so.
Next question, do you have any staff, Brad, for NISHU? Do you have someone down there at the range, on a schedule to be able to assist, or
No,
all volunteer?
We're just a working board of volunteers. So like we have, and what happens to be the same problem with every group of volunteers is we have the same 8 people doing the work all the time, it seems. So we've really been pushing to try to find some incentives to get some more help. We do offer free memberships to the people that run the open shoot, but we don't really have business hours where, Monday through Friday. So our phone at the facility gets forwarded to a voicemail, which goes to my email, and that's how we kind of man that. And then I just either will meet people down there to give them tours or to answer questions or just kind of try to deal with the business over the phone, something that we take on as the board. We don't have any paid positions or business hours. Just during our 3 or 4 months of open shooting is when we have open doors.
One final question, do you have any rental equipment if there's someone listening tonight and say, well, I'd like to try archery, but I don't have equipment?
We don't really. And it's become more a situation of, again, the time to find somebody to upkeep all of the equipment. And at this point, it takes 2 people to keep track of our target room where we keep all of our 3Ds and keep all of the targets in the building up to date and refreshed and things like that. So we have some equipment of our own, but we don't really rent it out. It does get used a lot when, like, University of Mary will come and do a day. I did one for Martin Luther Elementary. I brought a couple students in and did a day for them, and we use the equipment just for mostly events, not people that can come in and look to rent it. Game and Fish comes in, and they'll use it sometimes to certify NASP instructors and things like that. So we hold what's the word I'm looking for, seminars and things like that. But we have a little bit of equipment, but nothing that we rent out.
Well, thank you, and thank you both
Thank you.
for presenting this evening.
I appreciate
Young
the time.
lady, you did a great job.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, and best
Thank you.
wishes. Next item on the agenda is disposition of bids. We have several to consider. Our first is the Administrative Office Lobby renovation project. Brett with EAPC will review the bids. Good evening, Brad.
Good
Brett?
evening. Yeah, good evening, President Zimmerman and Commissioners. My name is Brett Donnett. I'm an architect here with EAPC Architects. Grew up in the Bismarck-Mandan area, so been here a long time. Give you a quick update on how the project came out for the lobby renovation. Quick reminder, the project consisted of walling off the front staff area with 3 separate counters, one of which was ADA to improve customer service and add some security. We've received multiple bids on the project, so that was a good thing. We bid it out different ways where we could have general contractor only, electrical contractor only, or a combined both general and electrical. In that combined bid, we received 3 bidders, 2 of which were within $750 of each other. The low bidder is Dakota West, and so we have met with them. Their bid was only 3% over our estimate, our opinion of probable cost, and they've confirmed that their bid number is good, and so we're recommending you move forward with Dakota West for the project.
Any questions for Brett on this project? Commissioner?
I guess my question would be for Director Klipfeld, is this doable? Are we good?
President Zimmerman, Commissioners, Commissioner Gilbertson, yes, this is within the budget that we had set, and then we also have to order some furniture, replace some furniture at the front counter, so we've got that too. So.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Jeske?
Thank you, President Zimmerman. Brett, when is the expected start and completion date of this project?
Yeah, President Zimmerman, Commissioners, Commissioner Jeske, the projected start is in February. There are some long lead item times with the furniture that's coming and with the carpet. And so to get the building permit and process, the contractor wants to have everything on hand before they start demoing. And then they're working with staff to make sure there's a pathway for people to still be able to come in and register while work is going on. So it might be a little painful, a couple hours here or there, but it should be pretty quick and painless.
Okay. So we'll start in February and
They're
6
thinking
weeks?
about 6 to 9 weeks, depending on how things go.
Okay. Thank you, Brett.
Yep.
Well, Brett, I know the staff up front will appreciate a remodel job there. I've been in there on some days when registration is going on, even though we do a lot online. There's still a lot of folks in and out of that office on days to register for programs. So thank you for work with that. Do we have an action from the commissioners? Commissioner Redmond?
President Zimmerman, thank you. I move that we award the bid to Dakota West Contracting for the combined contractor bid of $45,050.
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
Motion by Commissioner Redmond, second by Commissioner Jeske. Any further discussion? If not, Julie, if you'll call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson,
Aye.
Herzog,
Yes.
Redmond,
Aye.
Jeske,
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next one on disposition of bids is 2026 equipment bids. And our Facilities and Programs Director, Mike Wald, will review those bids. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, President Zimmerman and Commissioners. On December 9th, staff opened bids for the 2026 equipment from 6 vendors. Bids have been reviewed by Golf and Operations staff, and all recommendations are based on the lowest bid submitted that met all advertised specifications. But before I review those recommendations, there is one additional piece of equipment for consideration. Staff also recommends purchasing an additional zero-turn radius mower, which is item D, from Van Wall Equipment. Staff has a need for additional mower, and the price is within the 2026 budgeted line item. Any questions about that additional recommendation? Okay. Oh,
Commissioner Jeske.
Mike, I just want to confirm that that's the bid for $23,755.
President Zimmerman and Commissioners, Commissioner Jeske, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Any
President-
further? Representative Gilbert. Commissioner Gilbertson.
President Zimmerman, I move that we award the following bids for items A, B, C, D, and F to Van Wall Equipment for a total of $411,027. Item H to Acme Tools for $95,557.95. Item G to Bobcat and Mandan in the amount of $82,772.16. And items E, I, and J to MTI for a total cost of $124,946.42.
I second that. That was lovely.
It's been a long week.
Any further discussion? Before I call for the roll, Mike, do we have a total cost of all of this equipment? Is that 396 figure? No.
No.
I asked for that because when I review this, I think for folks to realize we buy a lot of equipment.
Yes, and if
I
my
think-
math, President
I'm sorry,
Zimmerman,
go ahead.
Commissioners, if my math is correct, the total equipment cost is $714,303.55.
Thank you. I think it's important to realize we put out a good amount of money here for equipment, but we need it. So I appreciate the work of the staff to get the bids out, work with the bidders and come up with that. So again, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Julie, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson. Aye. Herzog.
Yes.
Redmond.
Aye.
Jeske.
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. Thank you, Mike.
Yay for mowers.
The next one for disposition of bids is the 2026 fertilizer bid, and we have Operations Director David Mayer will present the bids on that. Good evening, David.
Good evening, President Zimmerman and Commissioners. Another bid for your consideration. We did solicit for bids for fertilizer for 2026. We did receive 6 bids, 5 which are represented in the documents that you have in front of you. One was received a couple days late, so it was returned unopened as per our specifications. So I will go over what we did review and open and verify that meets specifications. Going to summarize. So our recommendations is to award item number 1 to Tessman Company in the amount of $18,339.20. Items 2 and 3 to Reindeers Inc. of $20,280.
Thank you.
Dash your
And
daughter.
item 4 to Van Diest Supply Company in the amount of $4,162.50 in the total amount of $42,781.70. This does meet our budget and as reviewed by staff meets the requirements and the specifications that we had requested.
Questions for David on this bid?
President Zimmerman, I move that we award the presented bids in the amount of $42,781.70.
I second that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Gilbertson, second by Commissioner Jeske. Any further discussion? If not, Julie, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson.
Aye.
Herzog.
Yes.
Redmond.
Aye.
Jeske.
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. Thank you, David. I do like that reindeer. That's how appropriate at this time of year.
Santa Claus Inc.
Our next item on the agenda is consideration of year-end transfers, and we have Finance Director Kathy Feist will review the transfer requests as included in your packet. Good evening, Kathy.
Good evening, President Zimmerman and Commissioners. There are 3 year-end transfers that we have in your agenda packet for your consideration and approval. The first 2 are for 2025 budget items that we had a pickup truck for park operations that will not be delivered in 2025, so we need to transfer the money to 2026 to a construction fund to have that available for funding when that is received in 2026. And then the RV electrical upgrade Phase 2 project at General Sibley Park was awarded but could not be completed this fall before the weather turned. And so that will be completed next year, and so that funding will need to be available in 2026 when the contractor completes that work. And then the third item is from 2026. So approved in the 2026 budget was the replacement of the mechanical mechanism at Wachter Aquatic Complex, and that is scheduled to be done during 2026, funded by general fund reserves. So we're requesting to transfer that $1.3 million by the end of 2025 to make that available in 2026 when that project gets underway. So the total transfers from the general fund to the park improvement fund total $1,490,400. Any questions?
Any questions for Kathy? Before I call for a motion, just to thank you, Kathy, for keeping us up to date on this. I know that a lot of work with budgets, but appreciate you keeping us and keeping our budget straight. Again, I look at, $1.3 million just at a Walker Pool. That's a sizable amount of money, so thank you for keeping us up to track on that. I'd ask for a motion, please.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I move approval of the transfers as outlined by Finance Director Feist as presented.
Second. Oh.
Motion by Commissioner Redmond, second by Commissioner Jeske. Any further questions? If not, Julie, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson,
Aye.
Herzog,
Yes.
Redmond,
Aye.
Jeske,
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. Thank you, Kathy. The next item is the consent agenda. And if you've looked at the agenda, that consent agenda is quite lengthy, but we will read through it, so please bear with us. The consent agenda includes a variety of items placed on the agenda. The consent agenda can be approved with one motion, or an item or items can be removed for additional discussion and separate action. The staff recommends approval of the following items: consideration of the November 20th, 2025 board meeting minutes, consideration of memorandum acknowledging termination of the agreement for the joint exercise of government powers. This agreement references the joint riverfront mill levy agreement that Burleigh County terminated earlier this fall. The agreement states that Burleigh County will no longer be able to levy the one mill as outlined in the agreement. Another item is the request board authorization to call for bids on 2026 projects, and Operations Director David Mayer has provided a memo with that information. A request board approval to donate park board minute books to the State Historical Society. And again, please see the memo provided by Recreation Manager Renee Yoakum. Consideration request for Burleigh County regarding Missouri Valley Complex garden plots. The information is provided in the board packet. Consideration of consultant agreements for 2026 projects and approval to call for bids on the projects. For the Park Shop Concrete AE2S, Municipal Ballpark Safety Netting, EAPC, the BSC Aquatic and Wellness Center Timing System, Apex Engineering, Schaumburg Arena Refrigeration System Replacement, Ubel Design Group, Schaumburg Arena Bleachers, Ubel Design Group, VFW Sports Center Boilers, Prairie Engineering, and the Tom O'Leary Golf Course Cart Paths Phase 2 for a number of the cart paths there as for Apex Engineering Group. The last item is consideration of consultant agreement with KLJ and approval to call for bids for various parking lot projects, pending an approval of a Bank of North Dakota loan. What is the wish of the commissioners on the items on the consent agenda?
President Zimmerman.
Commissioner Jeske?
Just for review, I would just like to pull the request from Burleigh County regarding the Missouri Valley Complex garden plots, just to have a little additional discussion on that.
Okay, so we'll take that item off on the discussion on the garden plots. Any other items that commissioners wish to remove from the consent agenda? If not, I would ask for a motion for consent agenda with the exclusion of the matter of the garden plots at the Burleigh County, at the Missouri Valley Complex.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Redmond, second by Commissioner Gilbertson to approve the items on the consent agenda with the elimination or the exclusion of the garden plots at the Missouri Valley Complex. Julie, if you'll call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson,
Aye.
Herzog,
Yes.
Redmond,
Aye.
Jeske,
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. Then let's we will now consider the request from Burleigh County regarding the Missouri Valley Complex garden plots. And that information was in your packet.
Yep.
What discussion from commissioners?
President Zimmerman, if I may.
Commissioner Jeske?
Thank you. Kevin, I know you provided us with some information regarding the plots, and it does look like we are able to take on that additional responsibility. and it would be a source of revenue for the Park District. Are there any other concerns that you may have regarding adding those garden plots?
President Zimmerman, Commissioners, Commissioner Jeske, Dave Mayer and I have discussed this. It's something that we did last year. It will not be anything, I think in the last couple of years, our staff, Dave, Dana, Bonnie, and all the operations staff that operate down there have gotten better at this since we've taken the community gardens over from the group that was running them previously. And so the added staff time is minimal, and we think it's good for our community to keep these garden plots open and available.
And I would agree. I think so many people really enjoy having the garden plots available because, houses are getting bigger and lots are getting a little smaller, and it's just a nice convenience to have. So I just wanted to make sure that it was something that, as a park district, we felt that we could continue to do.
Any other comments on the item of consideration?
Then would you like a motion?
I'm sorry,
Would you like a motion?
I would like a motion then for
Okay.
this item that we, how do we state it here? Request that the Bismarck Park District continue with the operation of the Missouri Valley Complex garden plots. Is that Executive Director Clipfell?
Correct. President Zimmerman, also, I think we should have part of the motion that we would develop an agreement with the county to manage these also.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Good with that, Commissioner?
I will make
Jeske?
that motion then.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jeske, second by Commissioner Redmond. Any further discussion? If not, Julie, if you'll call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson,
Aye.
Herzog,
Yes.
Redmond,
Aye.
Jeske,
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. The next item on the agenda is the Executive Director Annual Review, and it's my pleasure to go through that review. For all those, for your information, every year we review our Executive Director's performance. Each commissioner has the opportunity to review a certain set of criteria and meet independently or separately with our Executive Director, Clipfell. We compile those comments, and I would like to review those this evening. We have several areas of responsibility, concern, come from the job description of the Executive Director. And our first one is board relations. And I picked comments from each of the commissioners, various areas to reflect. From Commissioner Jeske, Kevin understands the relationship between an executive director and a board is a delicate partnership, one that is forged in trust and mutual respect. Kevin responds quickly to questions and provides thoughtful answers and listens to recommendations. The next item is community relations. And of course, we all realize the importance of that. The Park Board is one of the governing entities in the Bismarck community. And I would read the comments from Commissioner Herzog. It's clear Executive Director Clipfell and the upper management and staff speak with district partners quite regularly. The groups specifically that use our programs and facilities, the school district, and some broader groups such as the CVB. Kevin has good knowledge of their operations and needs. Many groups I speak with in the community that use parks and rec facilities comment on the great working relationship with the staff. Commissioner Herzog continues, as we move forward, I would like Kevin to lead the district in more formal engagement with more stakeholders and community sponsors by creating board-appointed committees with mix of park staff and community experts and supporters. The example of a Park Centennial Committee appointed by the board with various backgrounds and connections to the district. Another area of concern or responsibility is human resources. And that comment, I chose what I had put in my recommendation. Over the past several years, I have observed Kevin's commitment to staff recruitment, retention, and training. He consistently keeps me updated on staff statuses. He keeps staff a top priority. The next item is finance. And a comment from Commissioner Redmond. The Bismarck Parks and Recreation District operates efficiently and within budget. Budgeting, analysis, fiscal management are all strengths of Bismarck Parks and Recreation District under Kevin and Kathy's leadership. Another category is planning, and a comment from Commissioner Gilbertson. Bismarck Parks and Recreation District continues to be the trendsetter in the world of parks and recreation when it comes to planning. The way the district goes about the process of strategic planning is truly impressive. Now, every commissioner had comments in every one of those areas, so please know that I just selected a representative effort of each one. And then overall comments and commissioners, I selected my comment. The past year I have witnessed Kevin's professionalism in his preparation, presentations, discussions, and follow-up on several district matters, specifically working with the River Commons project, the UNFI building proposal, discussions with developers on facility proposals, and others. Kevin has always been well prepared for discussions and follow-up. Kevin continues to represent the Bismarck Parks and Recreation District with professionalism, keeping the district involved and a leader in the city. So I know commissioners would perhaps wish to make a statement as well, but Kevin, great recommendation from all the commissioners. We certainly appreciate your dedication and hard work. I would ask commissioners if you have a comment to add to that, please do. I'll start, we'll just go around the table. I'll give you all fair warning to be prepared. Commissioner Gilbertson.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Director Cliffo. You come in a long line of very impressive individuals who have served in that position and have brought Bismarck Parks and Rec to the position that it is. I think sometimes locally we take for granted what we have here, but when we have the opportunity to travel to national conferences or to have, like we did last year with the gold medal committee with former director being here at Lake, it's very impressive to see the reputation that Bismarck Parks and Rec has on the national level. And I just want to commend you for your work and the job that you did in the position as well, and thank you for your effort.
Commissioner Redmond.
You know, when we look the past year, when we look at 2025, at the beginning of the year, we have projects for consideration, much as we're looking forward. But when we look in this past year, we look at this list, and there's so many that say completed. So many things got done in 2025. When we look at the summary of grants, so many grants that we received in 2025. When we look at our report card, what we did, progress towards all of our goals, all these check marks. When I look at all the things that we did in our ADA transition plan and all the check marks that were done, all the things that have been happening and all the things that are yet to come, in addition to all the comments that all of the commissioners made. But when I look at all the list of accomplishments, but I look beyond that, Executive Director Clipville, and what is beyond that and what I've learned from you is the people that have been impacted as a result of these projects and completions and the results of your efforts, the people impact. And so I thank you for that, because it's beyond the check marks, beyond the file is closed and it's in and it's completed, is the people that have been impacted by your work and your team's work in 2025. So thank you for that. Much impressed and much appreciated.
Commissioner Jeske.
Thank you, President Zimmerman, Executive Director Clipful. You make this job look easy, although I know it's not. You have almost 100,000 bosses that love to give you advice on what we could do better, what we aren't accomplishing. But I will tell you, you can stand proud and you can stand tall. And what you have accomplished within our community is nothing short of amazing. And, you know, you come from a long line of incredibly successful executive directors, and you're right there toe-to-toe with them. But working with you for the past I'm trying to think of how long you've been the executive director. I was a president at the time when you were appointed. But I will say that it's just been amazing to watch you grow in your profession. And like I said, Paula summarized it very well, but what you have accomplished within this community in a very short time is nothing short of amazing. So congratulations on your great evaluation.
Commissioner Herzog?
Thanks, President Zimmerman, Commissioners. I'm going to put some Kleenex here, Kevin. I'm actually going to look at you in the eye, actually, because that would be, we'll both start. But I think the thing that has really hit me, kind of being, again, the newer person that's here, is your diligence, essentially. I will be driving back, getting my, whatever, Target pickup, and your car's in the parking lot on Sundays. Always in the parking lot, Kevin, and I almost text you or like, I need to steal your keys or something, because you're there all the time, you're working all the time, and I know that's a lot. The amount of hours that you put in is, I'm sure, staggering. And just from what I can see when I'm cruising by, and it's not 8 to 5, you are doing it all the time. Or when they're going to close schools or maybe close schools, and you're on the phone with the BPS, folks at 3:30 in the morning and things like that. I think there's things like that people maybe don't see generally in the public, but that is, a big part of what you've brought to the job, I think, is that diligence, that work ethic, and you've squeezed a lot of juice out of the lemon. I think you make great use of what we have, and keeping it running. So, I would like you to not work on Sundays, and I have learned to send my emails on the weekends so that you don't answer them when you're not supposed to be working. So, but I just appreciate it, and yes, kudos on a great review.
Thank you all, Commissioners. Again, I would just highlight what I wrote in my overall comments, that specifically for 2025, when I meet with Kevin every Thursday morning at 7 a.m., and I get a review of what's going on in the district on the whole range from budgets and staffing and programs and items that have busted or broken over the weekend, who knows. But again, I believe Kevin, in working with a couple of the projects we had this past year, his true professionalism and dedication to be prepared. To every meeting I went to, Kevin had the information that we needed to discuss. As we met with the mayor, with the school district, and other groups, Kevin was very well prepared and knowledgeable and represented the Bismarck Parks and Recreation District very well. So for the year 2025, Kevin, thank you. All right. Our next item on the agenda is a personnel action, and we'll make it formal here. I have a letter that was addressed to the Bismarck Board of Park Commissioners dated December 11th. President Zimmerman and Commissioners, I am writing to officially announce my retirement as Executive Director of Bismarck Parks and Recreation District. My final day of employment will be June 1, 2026. I want to thank Bismarck Parks and Recreation District for the opportunity to start and finish my career in Bismarck, spending nearly 24 years of my professional life in this great community. I have enjoyed my time in the profession, working with a passionate staff that provides quality recreational opportunities in our community. We have worked with a variety of groups and organizations that are dedicated to making our community a better place to live, work, and play. For this, I will always be grateful and appreciative of their passion and support for our community. Thanks again for the opportunity to be a part of this great organization. Sincerely, Kevin Klipfel, Executive Director, Bismarck Parks and Recreation District. That makes it official. We know that we still have Kevin for a few months until June. I visited with him today, and he has agreed that we're just going to have this fabulous going away party somewhere. So we will hold off on those final congratulations and hugs and whatever until June officially arrives here, if that's all right with you, Kevin. But in this vein, or in this effort, we as a commission need now to go the next steps to look at hiring our next executive director. And I'm just going to comment if I may, by just a couple of sentences. I think this is going to be one of our most important tasks for 2026 and beyond. We as a commission will make that decision who will be the next executive director of Bismarck Parks and Recreation. As you have all said, someone to step in the shoes of a great list of commissioners, of executive directors. There's not been many executive directors in a 100-year history of the Bismarck Parks and Recreation District. So in that, in that effort, we have set the date of December 22nd, 2025 for a special board meeting to choose the method to fill the position, whether we look to retain an executive placement service or to proceed otherwise. So we have set that date. I want the public to know that the commission will meet in a special board meeting. At this time, I would ask commissioners if, for a time, do we have someone who just, a time that's not going to work? That's a Monday. That's coming up next Monday. Is there a time that is not going to work for commissioners? I know it's public here, but I wanted to get that out. Commissioner Jeske.
Thank you, President Zimmerman. I do believe that there was a notice that was sent out. Was there not? Okay. For some reason, I have 4 to 6 on my calendar, so maybe I was just speculating that's when we would be meeting.
Executive Director Klipfel.
President Zimmerman, Commissioners, Commissioner Jeske, we just blocked off some time potentially for a meeting, but would leave it up to the board's purview to set the exact time.
With that time of 4 to 6 p.m. on Monday, the 22nd of December, would that work for commissioners? All right, it's a special board meeting. It'll be held at the Park District office, not here, so we'll not be, don't be logging on to see the meeting here. It'll be held at Park District office. We have asked John Ward will be present to provide us some of the information that we need to consider as we move forward in this process. John, is that time going to work for you?
Actually, if we could start at 5 or shortly after 5, it would work for me. I actually have a hearing in district court that day starting at 2:30 that will probably go up till 5, I'm guessing.
The district court? Come on.
I apologize for that, President Zimmerman.
Will that work? 5? Okay. That's 5:15. Give John a chance to get down there if he's still in court. All right, let's set it then for 5:15. Director Klipfel, make that arrangement. And you'll see on that schedule there's a list of dates to go if we would go with an executive placement service or if we would do the work, what I would call internally. So we will review those on our Monday meeting. Any further discussion on that matter at this time?
Move to deny Kevin's retirement. Well, do we have to accept it? No. Okay, never mind.
Okay, I think we're, again, Kevin, a great review of the performance this past year. Very appreciative of your efforts. And we'll look forward to still some months to keep moving along. The last item is the approval of the bills. Motion by Commissioner Jeske, second by Commissioner Redmond. Any further discussion? If not, Julie, if you would call the roll, please.
Commissioner Gilbertson,
Aye.
Herzog,
Yes.
Redmond,
Aye.
Jeske,
Aye.
President Zimmerman.
Aye. Before I adjourn the meeting, I want to extend a greetings for a great Christmas holiday season, especially to all the staff of the Bismarck Parks and Recreation District and to the citizens of Bismarck. It's been a great year. Thanks to Director Klipfel, his executive committee, and all of our employees. We wish you a very prosperous or Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in 2026. The next regular board meeting for the Bismarck Board of Park Commissioners is January 15th, 2026 at 5:15 in the fabulous and warm Tom Baker Meeting Room. Meeting adjourned.